Okay, now let me. I don't think you guys can see that. Looks like it's going to stop out. Looks like we're going for a little squeeze. I'm not in any puts anymore. They are chopping way too much. If we invalidate most this move, I will be back in shorts. Otherwise, I don't really have a long. I mean, I do have a potential massive long trade for here, but with it missing these pivots down here, I'm not willing to take it. I'm willing to take longs up here though for this high. That's a TA alert I sent out earlier, and I'm still waiting on that to happen. NQ could bounce all the way back up. ES, I'm not really seeing it. ES looks weak. ES looks like I'm probably going to re-enter ES shorts. Just give me a bit. I got to take care of some stuff now. Let me have to hop back in. Do I want to hop back in? Not really. Um, but that is certainly bearish enough for me to do it. And you know what? I was hoping it would sweep that high. It actually perfectly swept my stop loss to the tick. But I'm going to have to hop back into this. If I'm going to be able to fill, because it's the world's most massive candle. All right, well, I placed my order. It did not fill it yet. It's one tick off. All right, it did fill it. Do not have a hard PT this time. Uh, hang on. That would be my heart. I'm actually going to put that heart PT there, but I might remove it if it does get down. Don't like that ES didn't sweep that higher high. I'm forced to re-enter a trade that doesn't have that much higher of a probability like at all. If it swept that high, it'd be looking great, but it just doesn't. It missed it, so it doesn't look that great. But I'm going to be quiet so I can fill out my journal. That was a very quick bear bait there. And that last trade perfectly got my stop loss. So annoying. What was this trade? 12. What was that trade? Hey, Tommy, show me your P&L, buddy. And then we'll see who ends up crying. So we all know what your P&L looks like. Bruce gives 0 shits this morning. Anyways, let me. All right, now I'm set up. Now we're good. All right, well, I still have that TA alert. I'm still bearish for those pivots, but I can't just hold a short for all of eternity. So we'll see if NQ gets all the way back up. I'm gonna be in longs. It is crazy that that one call trade I had on Kiki calls didn't hit. That was crazy. I'm willing to give the setup one more shot. Not willing to lose a million times on it. This was my pre-market analysis. This level on ES is a very good level. I am bearish for it. Um, it sucks that my stop loss got swept that first time. If my stop loss didn't get swept that first time, it would have just been one small loss. But you know, we have pretty much perfect trend lines on ES. Not so perfect on NQ, but yeah, these QQQ calls, this was like a 98% chance to hit, and by some miracle it didn't. This trade should have hit. My day on options would have been very bright green if this hit. I ended up only escaping with pretty small green. It's kind of looking like it might want to come all the way back down again. I mean, we did sweep the high, so if I do re-enter, it'll be a bit more likely of a trade. Um, how's the problem with this one? You know, I have to get into this trade no matter what. Like, this is a trade I have to get into. But like I said, the problem was it didn't sweep a higher high, which hurt the probability of that trade. It's more of like a 65, 70% chance instead of like a solid 80, 85%. Bruce, I'm sorry. I was upset about my P&L. This freaking Tommy. Time to unban Tommy for the 4th time. Freaking Tommy. You know, my real life friends talk about Tommy in my freaking group chat on a weekly basis. That's how famous he's become. Let me unban Tommy. You actually see what they said yesterday. Okay, so by the way, guys, you can okay, so here was the trade alert that I sent out. It was up here. Okay. Um you can take an early entry. Gosh, it's a big one though. You know, if you were to enter here, I'm bullish for it to at least clear this high. Okay, so that's very likely if it clears this high. If this candle closes a big green candle, it's probably going to clear this high. Now, if it clears this high by only, oops, 40 ticks. So if it clears this high by 10 points, I would have had to hop into longs anyways on the NASDAQ. If this candle closes perfect, I'm willing to do it. Well, that was kind of a perfect close. And this candle's flipping green. Okay, I'm willing to do it. It's very risky, not a very high probability. Certainly has incredible potential. I would take this trade in a heartbeat if we swept those pivots, but because we didn't sweep those pivots, it's just not as likely as I want. That's a tough decision. It's really up to you guys. If you want to the risk of the early entry is that it puts in an inverse head and shoulders. That's the problem. Right? Because I could totally see a potential inverse head and shoulders on NQ. But if it doesn't put in an inverse head and shoulders, like okay, if this red invalidates, it'll be a great entry. Very conflicted on this possible trade. I'm in long from 72. Oh yeah, you're in long from ways, dude. Definitely long I wouldn't take considering, it barely missed those pivots. Yeah, this is a PT all the way up here. And it's invalidating that red candle. I think I'm willing to give it a chance, guys, honestly. I think I'm going to give it a chance. Let's see how this next candle opens. Open green. Is it going to stay green? If it stays green, it invalidates that whole red I'm in. No, it didn't. It did not do that. If you guys need me to adjust the scale of the text on my chart, just let me know, by the way. I already did this morning. If you guys need me to do it more, I can. But again, the YouTube quality isn't quite as good as far as colors and resolution go, and I'm in. Very rare that I feel early in a candle like that, but the way that opened and validated the selling wick, I'm just willing. If it ends up hurting me, I will document that. But what is this? Okay, so here's a stop loss I rolled with. That's still oh, guys, this is a freaking massive trade. What are the odds this actually hits? Like really? I drop your size. I drop my size though. I did not drop my size, but dropping your size is a very reasonable thing to do with this trade. The PT's forever away. Stop loss is fairly far away as well. Um, my stop loss is actually a bit closer. At 75. Well, it was looking great. In the last 10 seconds of the candle, it flipped terrible. So you know what? The inverse head and shoulders is starting to look likely. It was looking so much stronger than ES2. It was looking so good. Now it does not. It does not look very good anymore. If you're still waiting on entry, I wouldn't even consider unless the selling wick invalidates. I think I'm just getting baited into trades this morning. I think that's what's happening. I like that buying wick, but kind of looks like it wants to put in an inverse head and shoulders. Not gonna lie. I do want it to bounce here. Doesn't look like it's going to. It looks like I'm just kind of getting baited into trades today. Could not have had a worse fill. Now, I was at least expecting it to sweep the high. It didn't sweep the high, just like my first, just like the very first trade. It missed the high. But this is either going to end up turning into a, this second hour looks like it's probably just going to chop sideways. I'm probably going to get triggered back into shorts if we drop enough, or back into longs for an inverse head and shoulders if we dip all the way down and invalidate this dip. But I'm just kind of thinking this is going to be a really shitty second hour price action. And even though we got a bunch of upside during the first 30 minutes of this second hour, even if I had absolutely no bias, I couldn't enter any of this upside. I possibly could have entered here. That would have stopped me out. I can't enter here because it's mid bearish consolidation still, and we didn't hit these pivots. Can't enter anything up here. I can enter where I did for shorts. That was a good trade. I'm not really able to enter here as well because ES is still bearish consolidation. So not, even though we did get some decent movement to the upside, the way it moved, the specific way it moved in the context of such didn't really provide any entries. But I will tell you guys this, if we do come up and we hit this blue line, my stop loss is going to be moved up to here, which again hurts the probability of the trade further. But in my opinion, especially after sweeping that liquidity, there's very little way to no way in my mind to sweeps this liquidity and comes all the way down to here without continuing. So unfortunately, NQ flipped weaker than ES. We hate to see it. But that's what I'm thinking as far as stop loss moving up. If this can sweep. Remember, with my early entry, it's very risky, but the goal is to not just get to here. I'm hoping we break above there. But the big problem is NQ is weaker than ES, so that really hurts my confidence at the moment. That candle should have been way larger than it was, and it wasn't. So looks like this general area of price action is very heavy resistance. But from what I'm thinking is I mean, you can see it on the volume profile too. I mean, from here to here, this should be a pretty quick gap to fill. But it's got to get there first. It's got to get through the last of this. You can see it in the volume profile, the bulk of liquidity right here. It's got to get through that. Looks like it's having a pretty hard time. And ES's big gap is up here. So I would assume if ES can get to this bottom white line, it should have a fairly easy job. If it breaks over this white line, because remember, this is a high right here. Just gonna draw out the rectangles. Give me a second. Let's throw the gap. Okay, well, if ES can break over this high here, this is its nearest major resistance. If it can break over that high, not bearishly sweep, I think it should have a fairly easy time filling this gap. And NQ should have a fairly easy time filling this gap here. Did that make a higher high? It did. All right, my stop loss is coming up. All right, at least the loss is going to be a lot smaller if it does come down, right? And I'll have Tommy complaining in my ear that it did this trade to even see one tick in the green. All right, stop loss has moved up. ES is still weaker than NQ. I mean, stronger than NQ, unfortunately. But I'm bullish on ES to get to the pivot as well, all the way up here. It's just, damn it, it's freaking NQ's weak, killing me. How far would this be to the PT, even if you entered here? That's far. Not as far as NQ's PT. That is looking like a bearish liquidity sweep. I do not like the way NQ's moving up. It doesn't look very good. It is so much weaker than ES. It looks pretty damn likely to stop out, honestly, guys. Not going to sell it. It still has potential. And, if it does, I think it's one or two big green candles away from short squeezing. I just don't think those candles are very likely. I think it's going to stop out. The way it just interacted with the pivot is the opposite of what I wanted to see. But this is going to be a pretty damn small loss. So. No, Kazumu, yes. This was a scam. What happened? Like the low probability. I'm kind of expecting this trade to stop out at the moment, so I'm not paying attention too closely to it. I'm watching it on my other monitor. I mean, NQ was so strong here. That's why I was prepping to stop out of my. Look how strong NQ was. Looked so good, and then still strong. ES started flipping stronger. I filled calls halfway into this candle here. Looked a given for this high. Looked nearly guaranteed. Yeah, guys, I got scammed on NQ. It's super weak. Gonna stop me out. It could not be any weaker than it is right now. It is so freaking weak. ES is moving up as I'm speaking. This looks so good. The only way that NQ stops out is if ES absolutely dumps, and it didn't. ES actually went up. And NQ just decided to turn around and go the opposite way. Like, look at this. So unlikely. Like, that was so freaking unlikely to happen. That was a 98% probability trade. But as painful as stopping out, as stopping out of that trade was, stopped out and ended up making all my loss back, plus a little bit on all this downside. So NQ looks like shit, guys. It looks horrendous. I give it a solid 90%, 98% chance to stop out. Looks terrible. I mean, NQ was strong at time of entry. It really was. And, ES did its job. ES moved up easily. I mean, filled on this trade right around here on ES. And look where it's sitting. Instead, NQ's sitting in loss right now. Unlucky. Very unlucky. Did you just go full tilt, Chimkin, or what? Hey, you can stop out of this trade break even if you want. I can't. The odds are still a little bit too high, I definitely was not expecting this candle on NQ, but what I said is, NQ's so damn weak, and there's so many bears playing it. I mean, if we invalidate this drop just once or twice more, I think we're totally able to squeeze. The problem is just the likelihood of it doing that is not high at all. But if I flip green or break even because it starts doing that, the odds start going up a little bit, I can't sell at break even. ES looks like a little bullpen at the moment though. NQ looks like freaking terrible atrociousness. This is the worst uptrend I've seen. This is actually bearish. Like this is legitimately bearish. So I'm really just waiting for this trade to stop out at this moment. And unfortunately, this is going to be a freaking trade I'm going to have to re-enter because ES is doing its job, NQ's not, and that's just the way it is. I'm hoping that at least if it stops me out, NQ comes down to here where my original stop loss is. That way I just save some money. But yeah, otherwise I'm still bullish on ES. Like this is my PT on ES, this 135.50 level. Very bullish. Probably not going to enter it unless it gets up to here. So, yeah, there's my stop loss. Let's see if it continues. Scam. Such a freaking scam. And it did indeed continue. Well, couple things I could do. I could enter shorts, but I have a feeling that if I enter shorts down here, NQ is going to flip magically strong. But now I'm back to conflicting analysis. No, I'm going to have to re-enter. I'm going to have to enter ES longs. It just swept my stop loss. That is now bullish, and that's a short squeeze. What a piece of shit. Even if I didn't move up my stop loss, it would have swept it anyways. Now I'm going to have to get back in, just twice as high as I was previously. What you guys are watching right now is an absolute travesty. Well, I'm back in. The same trade, it's tough choosing between ES and NQ. They're pretty similar. It's just ES is so much closer to its PT, NQ's further away. I went with NQ because I have a feeling ES is going to flip weak once it gets to the pivot. But yeah, you guys just watched the biggest scam ever. So this was my terrible fill. Keeping a tight stop loss on it. What a load of horse pucky. He could be an ES too. Damn it, man. If I were an ES that trade, my stop would have never got hit. My stop would have never even been close to hitting. If NQ wasn't horrendously weak like it was, that drop wouldn't have swept my stop. What a freaking scam. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? So most people, when something like that, there's a series of events that happened. Most people, when that happens to them, they will start losing their psychology. That's what you don't want to do, right? Remember, for every very unlucky event, there's an equal and opposite lucky event on the horizon, but you'll never be exposed to the possibility of experiencing that because you're too busy blowing your accounts because you get unlucky. Keep the law probabilities in your favor. If I beat a blackjack dealer 5 hands in a row, that is horrendous luck, but it still happens. You don't see them change the way they execute. There's ES getting to PT. God, I freaking called it. This market makes me want to curse this morning. I called it. Did I not say that we are 1 to 2 big green candles away from these shorts getting squeezed out? I knew it was probably going to happen. But you got to love hard stop losses. One of the things I like about options, I get to really let my things play out. Let's see if NQ can get to this PT. ES got to this PT. You can take profits if you want. If you're an ES, congratulations. I am jealous of you. So far during this trade, See, the time I entered this trade was 9:07 here. I'm up more on NQ than I would be if I were on ES at the moment. So what do you guys rate that unluckiness on a scale of 1 to 10? Type in chat. This wasn't even, there was no news that happened. What news happened? Was there any news? This happened at 9:06 my time. I don't have anything on my calendar that says anything for 9:06. Yeah. Unfortunate, guys. What are you going to do, though? What are you going to do? You know? The analysis was there. The analysis was there. The bullish bias was there. Everything was there. Just NQ could not move its fat ass after I entered the damn trade. And because it was so weak, it was too close to my stop loss. Lazy bastard it was. What a freaking lazy bastard. Whatever. It happens. Potential reversal signal on NQ. You can't take profits. It's so far up. But honestly, I'm just going to go to my original PT. You know, if it doesn't hit, I will continue being unlucky. You know? But you guys can take I mean, whenever. You know? The nearest, the closest possible pivot, it just got it. Right here. It's a good place to take profits. I'm just not really feeling it. You know, I'm okay just hell, this trade was up 100. This trade was up 33 points. If it has to go 54 points back down to stop me out, so be it. But you know what? I tried so much for this PT, so hard for this PT this morning. I'll sell if it gets there. If not, you guys can take profits whenever. This was a good, very good re-entry. It's unfortunate that I had to re-enter this stupid trade, but now NQ is very weak again. So let's see how far this downside will take us. It's very unleaked. That is very weak. That is a bearish liquidity sweep right there. What a freaking scam. NQ's weak again. Very weak. I could see an inverse head and shoulders trying to form overall. I'd just be surprised if this entire... I think it's very unlikely that this entire run invalidates. Look at the history of today. Right? Look at all the hard runs we had today. Hard bounces, I should say. Okay, we had one here. Fully invalidated. Was very unlikely to do so, by the way. This was a fairly hard bounce here. Fully invalidated. This hard bounce here. Invalidated. What are the chances that it invalidates again? I don't think it's likely at all. Just statistically. You know, it's very rare that the market will keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over. And I hope bears try. I mean, that reversal was bears trying, and they're probably going to get squeezed and get their asses kicked because they tried again for a fourth time. And do I know that's going to happen? Obviously not, but that's what I think is likely. This PT is miles away still. Jeez. Well, it looks really far away on my MNQ chart, but I think that's just because my scaling's all weird. Yeah, it looks so far away. ES bullish consolidation, but it's kind of on this pivot, so it kind of negates it. I'm still leaning slightly bullish for this bullish consolidation just because the first trend was so large and we're in demand. Looks like NQ may be trying to flip stronger than ES again, but there's just a lot of sellers up here. I mean, we rejected so hard up here earlier, and there was enough sellers in here to mystically and magically flip this super weak. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of sell orders left that we are triggering into. What do you guys think? Type in chat. You think NQ gets all the way to my faraway PT? I'd assume a lot of you guys already sold. I mean, it's up a ton, but it's gonna scam. The analysis is there. I mean, the only wrong hypothesis I had was this one. Both entries were valid. This entry was flawless. But I mean, look at the stop loss. I mean, this is good trading here. You know, that's a stop loss. Look what was prevented, you know? And I mean, I called out longs, bullish bias, really at 8:52 my time here on this arrow. 8:52 on, yes, here. And NQ just couldn't freaking move with ES, unfortunately. So that right there is a prime example of why I do not take continuation trades on pivots. That was a bullish bull pennant, very strong trend plus demand, but it's on a pivot, so it makes it fairly unpredictable. And that is a solid bearish liquidity sweep. Also, look at the volume spike on this doji. Oh, that wasn't that doji. Never mind. Never mind. Of course, volume spikes do signal reversal, but you know, the candle is really big. But huge volume spike definitely signals reversal. It is getting that. I still have a hard time believing this entire run's going to invalidate. Do you put stop losses and take profit, or you place orders when it gets close? Okay. I put all my orders in the beginning. I enter the trade. I put my stop loss and my PT. I don't know. Oh, on Top Step you have a limit of 2 contracts, and it might not let you place those orders, FEMA, because if you're trading minis, I think that's even that way on MNQ too. Um, Hang on, I'm watching this trade just go to shit at the moment. But anyways, yeah, it's because you're placing in orders for 4 contracts instead of 2, and 2 is the limit. So I believe that's the reason why you are experiencing that issue. It's been a while since I traded on Top Step, but that sounds about right for me. Apex doesn't really matter because its sizing is 10 minis max for the 50K accounts. So I can put pretty much as much orders as I want as long as I'm trading a decent size. I can even put more than 10 orders on the chart and it's fine. It just won't fill them. The bearish reversal, folks. I'll tell you what though, if you took profits on this trade and this drop invalidates, that is a textbook great re-entry. That would be an instance where I'd average up if I were trading options. So let's see if this drop invalidates. ES doesn't look like it wants to invalidate the drop. ES looks clocked out, which I mean was kind of my prediction. ES would flip weak when it gets to that PT. It's just, you know, yeah, I could have taken ES and I would have been out right now. And sure, I guess I could be re-entering, you know. But this PT on NQ is twice as far away. And I think NQ is not much less likely to hit this PT than it is on ES. But unfortunately, it was stronger than ES, but flipped weak right here, which kind of screwed it up. I guess we will see. All right, but I'm about an equal distance away from stopping out and hitting my PT again, so I'm gonna hang out on my phone, wait for one of my orders to get closer to hitting, and let's see. I mean, if that huge red candle fully invalidates, I think it's got a golden road paved for it for my PT. Let's just see if bears have the. I mean, if bulls have enough balls to buy it. Well, that was bearish. Was looking okay for a bounce there, but yeah, this might do it. This might do the improbable again and invalidate this entire run. Starting to look like a solid possibility. I still don't think it's very likely, but the way this red candle is getting put in on NQ, it's totally looking like there's enough bears playing for it to happen. So many shorts playing right now. I don't know if it's going to happen anymore, but like I said, if this drop invalidates, more than a 90% chance he gets a PT. It'll look fantastic, but I don't know if that's like this bounce. It's trying to invalidate that first red candle. It's getting a selling wick, which I don't really like. There are just so many shorts playing this. I'm not really sure why. I mean, guys, if I think it's gonna go, if this does invalidate this drop, I think it's gonna go way higher than my PT, like way higher. I mean, the last time you guys saw this setup, how far did it go? Like this setup goes very far, especially with. I mean, I thought it was gonna go far here, and it didn't. It came all the way back down, swept way lower lows, but now it came all the way back up. And if we do something like this, and we have that inverse head and shoulders, that's going to look so damn good. I want it to happen so much, but today's the day of getting scammed, is what it seems like. So I also wouldn't be surprised if it comes all the way back down. But this setup has so much damn potential in NQ. No, Bears are slamming it again. I don't know, guys. So much potential, but I don't know if we're gonna tap into that potential. You guys should have B dash adjust on TradingView. Yep. I do like how strong NQ is. I do really like that. So much potential still. I don't know if NQ wants to do it. The odds will jump drastically if NQ can get back up to here. I don't know if it's going to be able to do that though. ES doesn't look like it wants to bounce. It can. It has a setup to. This lower low with the buying wick here and the decreasing red volume. I just don't know if it has a setup to do it. We'll see. The problem with everyone that's not in and wants to get in, if you know, if you took profits and you want to re-enter up here, the only problem is it might want to get multiple oscillations, and then you may stop out. But honestly, I just enter anyways. Just know that that's a possibility, and that's pretty much it. It sucks that ES swept and NQ did not, because you know that kind of limits. Do I really think ES is going to get all the way back up? I'm having a hard time seeing that. You know, um, I mean, by the time NQ's at my PT, ES is probably going to be like somewhere right here. And I mean, it could. I don't know. There's just so many shorts playing still. Okay, so we almost invalidated this big red candle, almost, but then we closed with that ugly selling wick. So, still not super bullish yet. I'm still very bullish, but not super bullish until that entire red candle invalidates and we close a solid green candle over it. Then the odds would be looking as good as they could possibly get. See you later, 7. So much potential. Man, I'd hate for this potential to go to waste, folks. I really would. That's a nice candle close on NQ. That is bullish as hell. That's very bullish. The only way that could be more bullish if the body was a little bit bigger, but see, this would be the first candle that closes over that open of that red body. I want to move my PT further away, guys. If ES didn't shit the bed, I would. This PT is already so far away. This is the biggest PT we would have ever done on this stream. It doesn't even look that far either. It really doesn't. And you know what's BS? I was in right here. I should not. Enki should not have flipped weak. I was correct in my hypothesis. I got freaking scammed. I forgot about that. I click on the box to load the chart. It might be a Wi-Fi thing. Risen. That's a Wi-Fi thing. If you're not able to see my stream, it's a Wi-Fi thing. We're looking at the same chart though. I mean, you don't need to look at my chart. But well, if we want to go for multiple oscillations, we may do it here. ES doesn't look like it wants to get up. ES looks done. ES looks tapped out. ES is a big anchor. I didn't expect ES to flip that weak during this trade. But it looks like NQ is going for another oscillation. I'm going to hang out on my phone until it gets close to one of my orders again because it looks like I got a while. That's a pretty bearish candle that just got put in. But I think there's a high chance that candle invalidates. All right, it's getting interesting again. We are putting in that second oscillation. Lots of bears are continuing to step up. I do like that we made a lower high, but the way this candle's trying to close right now, it's indicative of a potential run 2.0. I refuse to get my hopes up, but it's looking pretty damn good. Will it continue to be that way, though? I have no idea. It's looking like a pretty solid trend line. I think I'm just going to draw this one, though. This one looks a little bit better. ES is down there in the slums right now, putting in a little bear pennant. I don't think it's very likely to break to the downside. It would really suck if it did, but I don't think it's very likely. Please moon ES. Yep, that's the spirit. That's the spirit, Andy. If you send more crying emojis, it'll feel bad for you and it'll do it. It works. Or that one, Dev, yeah. Love that emoji. It's so good. Is that added as a... I don't know if that would be a very good server emoji, though, because it's like too detailed. I wouldn't be able to really see it. All right, maybe if we all put that emoji in chat, just a continuous train of it, we'll win. What do you guys think? Well, Tom, I invited Tommy back in the server. I think he's here, but he's not coming back. What Tommy does is he always throws a tantrum about, he comes in, I get a red trade, he throws a tantrum, he leaves, and then he misses out on the green ones. It's the typical Tommy fashion. I've never met someone so unlikely to succeed in the stock market. I truly thought it was possible for everyone. Um, but honestly, Tommy's kind of changed my life, changed my perspective on how down bad someone can be in the trading world. I've never had less faith in someone's success than Tommy's. It breaks my heart that that's a true statement. It really does. You played futures today? I am playing futures today. Cue the genius. Tommy should be an analyst so we could bet against him. Esky, I would love to. I would love to. I would stop trading. Like I wouldn't trade anymore. I just copy his stuff. Like it would no joke, it would be way better than any analysis that I can come up with. Unfortunately, NQ did make a higher high there. Not the highest high though. I do like that it missed this high. But it is trying to reject this high. So bears are still stepping in. Honestly, guys, this shit's gonna blow right through my PT. You can move it even higher if you want to. This was so indicative of a short squeeze here. Just the amount of shorts that are stepping in. I'm not going to move my PT further away. It's already 50 points away, but damn it, it's not a bad idea if you do. It really isn't. So there's my PT hit. There you go. It's probably going to freaking go, guys. It's just hard for me. My PT was so, I want to move it further away. This general setup totally can produce it. Totally can. But it's like, we already had a big retracement here. If we're thinking first leg consolidation, second leg, first leg consolidation, second leg, it's already, the PT was already so far away. I just don't have the balls to move it further, to be honest with you guys. And my nearest pivot that I have is all the way up here. Do I think it's going to get up there? Probably. Let me just document that. But folks, just like that, we have indeed flipped green on the day with that trade. That trade covered 3 losses. I'm not happy though. Today should have been way brighter green. I'll accept the first two losses. It's whatever. The hypothesis was incorrect. Stop losses were good. But NQ bullshitted me earlier. I should have been in NQ longs with this average here, and it should have been glorious. But you know what? It was too good of a trade. NQ couldn't allow it. It couldn't allow us to make that good of money that quickly. It just couldn't allow it. But like I said, did I not say it's probably going to blow right through the PT? And it is indeed doing that. So if you want to hold it, you can. But, you know, it's. Yep, that was a green day. Cool. Very neat. I'm still bullish. Do I want to? Of course, everything inside of me is telling me to re-enter. Like, I'm feeling the FOMO too, even though I was sitting in longs and I only have been out of longs for 1 minute. But that's how the human brain works, right? Pretty interesting. You know, I've only been trading for a little over an hour, so I really am supposed to continue trading. I'm bullish for this pivot now on NQ. I'll continue giving you guys analysis. You know, if we pull back and invalidate that pullback, you know, I'll enter longs for this. But zoom out of your charts, and that is a God. That's such a damn good setup. Look at it. Holy guys, that's a setup that produces glorious runs. And you saw how many shorts kept stepping in. That's why I said if that shit invalidates, the chances of it just skyrocketing is so fantastic, and that's why. I finished documenting this. Let's see if he gets this big pivot. Not a bad PT. Pretty bullish for it. But is there a reason my freaking 15-minute chart on NQ's busted? I've never had this happen before. When I go to the 15-minute chart, that's what it shows me. And it shows me this on B-adjust. So on the 15-minute chart, I don't know why. On the other time frames, it looks fine. But oh my gosh, is that freaking chart bullish? That looks damn good. And that calls for a TA alert update, doesn't it? One moment. Did I send that TA alert earlier today on ES or NQ? TA alert. TA alert. I sent it on NQ. That's glorious, guys. Yep. It's an easy one. That is an easy one. This candle closes like this, I'm willing to take NQ longs. This is good enough for bullish consolidation to trigger me into a trade. It's very small. You know, it is definitely risky. It certainly is risky because ES is at high of day. But it looks pretty good. Let me send out another TA alert though. Because that 30-minute chart's looking scrumptious as well. Didn't quite get the green candle. If this one starts opening green, I think I'll take a small stab at it. It's not bad. You know, we have baby bullish consolidation here. Maybe we'll wait for this candle to close. This is the trade I'm eyeballing personally. Oh my word, that is a bullish candle. It'll have the world's tightest stop loss, but well, I took it. I will see what happens. It's a pretty damn bullish candle. Really, all I'm betting on is the where did I fill? I think I filled it right here. There's a stop loss. Pretty damn small. Very tight. It's a weird combination of words that just came out my mouth. Anyways, yeah, I'm just betting on the. I think it's pretty good, you know, judging by the trend, the candle I got. I'm betting that the buying wick holds. It's got a pretty decent PT, good risk to reward, you know, for a risky reentry. This one's good. I'm loving that it's getting a green candle already because that means the entry was valid. So even if this trade doesn't work out, it's all right. It was a fine entry. Not like in the damn it, that candle didn't close right. It's probably gonna sweep the low of that buying wick now. It was a good attempt. Looks like it'll be a microscopic loss, a very yeah, that's the smallest loss I've ever taken in front of you guys if this hits. You could extend it out way further, but it's just like, you know, when I'm buying it high a day, it can sweep your stop no matter where you put it. You can put your stop down here, it can sweep it just like here. You know, if you entered here, you can put your stop loss here, here, or here, or here. It's going to sweep. There's no way to know how far it's going to pull back. That's the problem with buying these kind of highs. The only thing I do know is though is when this entire wick invalidates, it's probably going to continue down at least a little bit. Man, it's hard to see that wick on my screen though with this here. But that's the biggest downside of this trade is ES is at high of day currently. That's the by far the biggest risk, and that's why this trade has a I'd say a fairly solid possibility of not playing out. Like I'd say maybe 45%. This is pretty close to a 50-50 trade. Like I give it maybe a 55% chance with how close that stop loss is, which is pretty damn good considering the risk to reward's 2.45. This rising wedge is certainly a concern though. There's a rising wedge on ES. Isn't going to play out though. I would be hornswoggled if that plays out. I do not expect that rising wedge to play out, but it is a possibility, so I will chart it on my chart. Let me send out this TA alert because this is a bull flag here. And that's a badass trend line. It's not perfect 3-point touch or anything. But I'd be lying if that doesn't have a solid possibility of not only breaking the trend line today, but going to all-time highs. I don't think it's a very high possibility that we see all-time highs, but we haven't validated a vast majority of that drop. These 30-minute candles look solid. We still have we're only halfway into this candle though, this current 30-minute candle, and it's this large. It's definitely a possibility. It looks like it may stop out. Is that a higher high that I see? With the selling wick? It is indeed. It is indeed. Looks like it'll finally stop out. That was a damn good attempt though. Let me draw this trade again. Honestly, guys, though, this is so bullish. You know, this small trade may stop out. You know, my stop loss is just so close. Any red candle nearly guarantees it's going to stop out, to be honest. But the fact that shorts are still entering everywhere, I mean, if we continue invalidating these drops, huge signal that we could continue to run very hard. But looks like it's going to need that lower low now. Be pretty surprised if it doesn't get it. If it doesn't get it, that'd be incredible. Because that would actually be, yeah, that would be incredible because we made a higher high on NQ. Typically, that'll result in a lower low. But, oh my gosh, guys, this is so damn bullish. So many shorts keep stepping. I mean, this is what we were seeing right here. You know? Kept making higher highs, rejecting. How many shorts kept stepping in everywhere during this? All these green candles either had really big buying wicks or big selling wicks besides like one of them. Or just a couple of them. So even though, I may stop out, I think I'm willing to give it one more shot if it does something like this. And like I said, there's a good chance that if we do break to the upside here, it's totally possible. This is a bullish engulfing on NQ. Not going to get my hopes up, though. Not with my stop loss that close. No, it's going to stop out. 98% chance. The way you just invalidated that green candle, 95% chance it's going to stop out. But, if we do something like this, maybe like this, and then we come back up, that'll look damn good to re-enter. That'll look very good to re-enter. And honestly, this PT is probably too close, but it's a solid PT. I think ES is, well, NQ is now weaker than ES. It just can't stay strong for me, can it? Way weaker than ES now. I'm starting to feel like it's probably just barely going to sweep my stop, then come right back up. Because the way it's dropping right now isn't very bearish. And with ES moving the way it is, I don't even know if ES is going to drop at all with NQ. I just hope that it continues down after sweeping, getting my stop loss. That way I don't have to re-enter and the trade's not any more likely. Well, it looks like it missed my stop loss by one singular tick. Whenever that happens, I just assume it's gonna stop out. My stop loss is one tick below this low on MNQ. It's at 25. There, now it hit. All right, we'll see if it comes back up. I'll be back in. Man, ES looks strong though. That's pretty good stop loss if you ask me. ES looks good to go. I kind of have problems entering ES though. I don't really want to. This is the nearest pivot on ES. It's pretty close. Um, this is the nearest very significant one here. With how strong ES flipped, I'm starting to think ES can get all the way up to here, but we'll see. I don't know how far down NQ wants to go. think I'm still probably going to re-enter on NQ for the same logic that I entered NQ on the previous one, um, in comparison to ES, because I think ES is probably going to flip weak again. It's a lot closer to this pivot on ES, and I think it's pretty likely to flip weak after it hits. NQ's a lot. NQ could drop quite a ways. I mean, ES is sweeping higher highs. If ES rejects, yeah, NQ's gonna dump. But it's interesting. These drops are so, like, they're such aggressive drops. There's so many shorts just playing this. Um, and that could be it. And, it did sweep a higher high. It's possible that that's it. NQ's weaker than ES. ES is a potential rising wedge. That could be it. I have a hard time believing that though. 10 out of 10 stop loss on that. A really good entry too. How far down is NQ gonna go? That's a bearish candle open as well. I don't really have a trade here. I mean, that's a rising wedge on ES. I'm waiting to see how it breaks the downside. If it is a hardcore break or if it just sweeps. All right, well, it's testing the bottom of that trend line. That's a bearish candle on NQ. NQ looks like it's going to go for this low. I'm not really willing to enter though. I mean, it very well could be a very nice trade. Not really willing to enter. That day is pretty much break even now after that tiny loss. I think I'm down $10, which is pretty good for 4 losses and 1 win. That's actually really good. I don't really want to screw that up unless I have a really good setup. Looks like NQ is going to try to get to that low though. Shorts look completely in control, guys. I'm thinking that might be it. That was a very solid potential. I think if we do come back, I don't know. It looks like it's probably going to be later. But if we do come back, I am just as bullish as I was right here. I'll be very bullish. That could count as double fake prophecy on ES. You know, we did fake to the upside. That's a really nice trend line. Could be a possibility that we just go right back up. But NQ, that's hard to see. NQ looks like it wants to get to that pivot. Bears are in complete control on the NASDAQ at the moment. It looks pretty bearish. It looks more likely that this bounce is going to put in a head and shoulders on NQ and go back down. Why are your supplies not showing? Well, they're not showing because the chart's ruined. Like, Brie, I don't know what's wrong with my chart. Like, the 30-minute is... Oh, wait, hang on. Oh, wait, the indicator deleted. That's why. Well, my chart's so screwed up. I don't know. My 15-minute time frame just doesn't work. I don't know what's wrong with it. Like, this time frame just doesn't work. All the other ones do, but that one does not work. So I don't know what happened, but it's because I don't have the indicator on for some reason. We'll fix that. There's NQ supply. Yeah, I do see 30-minute supply here on ES. It's just when contracts roll over and stuff, the 1-minute time frame has a hard time showing the zones until they've been there for a while for some reason. I don't know why. But yes, no, that is heavy supply. And it's rising wedge. I mean, did spot the rising wedge. I don't know why it's not showing on the 1 minute. That's weird. I think I'm on a different version than you guys, though, of the indicator. Yeah, maybe a data thing. I don't know. But that is the heavy supply on ES. That looks like bearish consolidation on NQ. It looks like a pretty dang good short trade to that low. I don't really want to take it. You know, ES looks too possible to go up. You can if you want. You know, that is a bear pennant. Looks good to that blue line. PT's too close for me to take it. Feel good about today. Nice job, Stonky. NQ's doing the thing that it's been doing like all day today for some reason. Once NQ starts bottoming out, it did it here, here, and here. It starts flipping stronger than he has. I wonder if it's going to do it this time. I do want NQ to get to this pivot, though. I feel like a lot of you guys are in shorts for that. But it's doing that thing that it's been doing, you know, those lower lows with buying wicks. ES is starting to be more willing to go down. I wouldn't be surprised if NQ starts flipping strong here. That's good, Bree. No, and ES is still strong. I would love ES longs. I really would. I would love ES longs if NQ didn't look like a possible head and shoulders. But it looks good for a bounce. NQ's got lower lows and is trying to bounce. It's just NQ just to me looks like it's trying to put in a inverse head and shoulders. Let me see if this is... Interesting. Now I can see the zones on the 1 minute, but only after I selected show forming supply zones. That's interesting. It looks like NQ's going to that pivot anyways. Yep, got there. So you guys that took shorts, that's your PT. I don't know if ES... I don't know. ES longs are still looking fairly appealing to me. I want to see how NQ reacts with this pivot because that's a lot of volume on that candle. What a weird day though. I mean, these huge moves just invalidating like nothing. Very bizarre. Oh my gosh, that is bearish. That is very bearish on the NASDAQ. I'm still not really willing to go short though. But that is surprising to me. Like that's bearish enough for us to see low a day. But now I'm leaning bearish to this level here. I'm willing to take shorts if we invalidate this bounce. If we put in a good bounce and invalidate it, I'm willing to take it. That might be it for the bounce. NQ flipped stronger than ES finally, but it dropped a lot more, so it's not actually stronger than ES. Just these current candles are. That's a solid rising wedge break to the downside and supply, so that was a good identification there. I'm not really willing to chase it. Not really willing to chase it unless I get the bounce and the invalidation that I want, honestly. But it's starting, guys. It's starting to look like NQ might somehow, some way get back to low of day. Like that is a really hard rejection. Like all that progress got completely wiped out, and this is where it started at 9:06 my time, 11:06 Eastern. I think it's at least going to try to get to the low of this candle. I'm just hoping for a solid bounce that I can play shorts on. This bounce has potential. This potential solid bounce setup. I mean, we have demand, lower lows, buying wicks. There's a lot of potential with this bounce. I don't know how high it's going to go. Yeah, that 30-minute candle closed like that. Never mind about that bullish bias. Jeez. It's not a high enough bounce for me. I wanted it to bounce to at least somewhere up here. I think I'm just going to sit it out, guys. Not really feeling it. This whole downside is very surprising to me. And I don't feel like trading while I'm surprised because I feel like I'm going to continue being surprised, which means low probability events, which further means losing money. Looks like bearish consolidation, but you know, with us now in demand on NQ, like I said, I'm unwilling to short unless it gets a big bounce, but I'm still leaning bearish at the moment. Hoping it gets a big bounce though. Here's a bounce. Let's see how high it goes. What's up, Shoe Funk? You missed it, dude. Well, you didn't miss much. You know, I had 4 fairly small red trades. One of them was I was long here because I was bullish for NQ to get all the way up to here. Except NQ flipped horrendously weak after I entered. Sweat my freaking stop loss. So I ended up re-entering here and took a huge long that actually flipped my day green. And then I took one extra really small loss here with the world's tightest stop loss just for this pivot. So fairly happy with today actually. But it just killed. Today should have been a much more green day if if that didn't happen. But that's just luck right there. The hypothesis was good. That's a solid bounce on ES. I mean on NQ. Not so much on ES. You know, look at the volume of that huge green candle on NQ. That's bullish. Like for the size of that candle to have that little volume, that's like pure buys right there. Pure buys and shorts covering. So I don't know if that's going to invalidate. I mean, if it does invalidate, I can take a short here to this PT. It'll be a fairly good trade, but at the same time, it's like, we have demand. We're right back in the middle of the range, guys. I just don't think I'm really willing to trade in the middle of this range. I just don't think the setups just aren't super likely. Um, ES looks like it wants to go back down. ES is pretty weak. I would love for it to just go all the way. If it went all the way back up, this would be an easy trade to take. That would be a very easy long to take. I don't think I'm going to get that lucky, though. I think it's probably going to find a way to this low. The thing that makes me hesitant about wanting to enter shorts if this comes back down is because we're right in the middle of the range on heavy support. Clearly, we're on heavy support. If I enter this trade here, and this would be my stop loss, I'm just feeling like it's too likely to do this. You know, I feel like it's way too likely to do kind of what it did here and stop me out a couple of times. And I don't think I'm willing to stop out a bunch of times in pursuit of that trade. You know, well, that candle played out. I mean, I said this bounce candle right here was a very bullish candle, very bullish volume, especially. Um, yeah, I'm thinking NQ at least clears this high, or at least sweeps it. We'll see though. It's hard for me to be bearish with the way it's bouncing. Obviously, I'm still kind of leaning bearish, but there was a reason I really didn't want to short in that demand, and that's why. Even though it was trying to put in bearish consolidation, it still got lower lows with buying wicks. And well, I mean, we called it. We called it. It didn't happen right here because it got flushed. It seems like this may have been exit liquidity for shorts. Because this looked like a stop loss raid right here. What happened right here? That looks like a stop loss rate, and it could be very possible that this was exit liquidity for shorts, and we could go all the way back up. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. That looked like a stop loss rate with how fast that thing happened. Um, so it didn't happen here, but I mean, we did say when NQ starts getting towards the bottom and it puts in these lower lows with buying wigs, it flips way stronger than ES, and we did see that here. But, you know, if it comes back down, it's a good short trade, guys. I just don't think I'm willing to take. We're right in the middle of the range. I just don't think I'm willing to take it. I think it's a bit too likely that it's going to sweep my stop loss once or twice before it actually gets there, and that's just a risk that I'm not willing to take. I'm not willing to spend that much money in pursuit of that trade, you know. So we'll see, I guess. But it looks like it's trying to retrace right now. And it's retracing in a fairly bearish manner. What's interesting though is this candle, this big green candle, the last green candle we had on NQ didn't have any selling wick or anything. Like I had no selling wick, no indication of reversal. Yeah, the volume was fairly moving downwards, which could be bearish and could indicate, a temporary bounce. But the candle itself didn't strike me anything as bearish, so. Let's see what would have happened. Let's see if this candle closes a bit lower than what it is right now. I mean, I would be triggered in for shorts. Let's see if I would have hit PT or stopped out. You guys can take the trade if you want. I'm unwilling to do it, like I said. That's looking pretty bearish. ES just got to lower lows, though. It's a potential bounce area. I don't know if it's going to reflect in NQ or not. Let's see. I mean, I would have probably, if I were willing to take that trade, I would have probably entered right around here. I mean, that's a majority of the drop invalidated. Yeah. This would have been PT. Yeah, I don't like the likelihood of this trade. Sure, it's still a good trade. It's solid, but the stop loss is kind of far. Nah, it's like my average stop loss. Risk to reward's fine. Just the likelihood of it sweeping my stop losses, guys, is way too high. That's why I didn't take it. But I'm gonna keep this off to the side to see if it would have done what I think it's gonna do, or if it did end up playing out. I told you guys last Friday that I'm starting to trade a bit more subjectively, and this is kind of me doing that. And yes, is a lot weaker than the Nasdaq. It's starting to look kind of 50-50 to me. NQ stronger than ES. ES is trying to make lower lows. I think there's a decent chance ES bounces soon, but I'm still kind of, obviously it's still a bearish trend, so it's not like I'm bullish. It's looking pretty 50-50 on the Nasdaq, which way is it's going to break. If I were to assume, I think it has a bit of a higher chance of breaking to the upside. But as far as which way it continues to go, I think it's pretty 50-50. I think it's hard to say. Mark, perfect bounce on the 61.8. Interesting that you said that. I forgot to check. You are right, good sir. You are right, which puts our NQ long PT to here. Not gonna lie, NQ longs are looking pretty good. They're looking pretty good. They really are. Um, Stronger than ES. ES is making lower lows and bouncing. It's just my stop loss would have to be so freaking tight, dude. You know, if I enter on that candle, this would be stop loss. This would be PT. You know, it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look like a bad trade. I think I'm just gonna sit everything out here while we're chopping this. I think I'm just gonna sit it out. But yeah, I'm definitely leaning a little bit more bullish for NQ to at least break to the upside. I think that 61 APT is pretty solid. I'm gonna leave it as a that white line right there. It's in line with the 23.6. That's bullish PT for NQ. But it looks like it just now flipped weak. It heard me. It heard that I might go long, and it flipped weak and went right back down. And if I entered right there, I'd be close to stop loss. So yeah, it just looks like sweep stop loss sweep central right now. I don't really want to deal with it. I hang on my phone for a bit longer, see if anything interesting happens. I'm not willing to take anything while NQ's compressing like this. NQ's validating drops again. I'm thinking it may break to the upside. Longs are not bad. They really aren't. I don't think I'm gonna take them though. Uh, I kind of already made the decision. I'm not gonna take anything while it's compressing. You know, because right when I say longs don't look bad, look what it does. In the last 5 seconds of this candle, it flips red. So I'm going to continue kind of sitting out and just watching. But I'm very curious to see which way this breaks, so I'll hang out. Appreciate the love, Mitz. Mitz Birdify. So that, you know, possibly would have been another entry. This candle, the way this candle closed, that possibly would have been another entry for shorts if I were trading right now. Um, Same trade as last time. This would be my stop loss. I'm gonna move it to the side and see what would have happened. If I took this trade, I could have. It's possible. I think it would have barely missed my stop. I think it would have put my stop just a tad higher. But I very well could have stopped out. So that's pretty much a win in my books. But I'm gonna move this trade to the side and see what would have happened if I took this trade. Because this is also a potential trade. Again, though, it's just, you know, ES is looking like a falling wedge in demand. NQ is looking 50-50. Pretty good reason to not commit to anything right now. And in fact, I would rather personally take longs for the 61 APT if this drop invalidated. Still not going to do it though. So I'll hang out and wait and see what happens. That was a potential reversal candle, but just invalidated again in the last seconds. I really don't know. There's clearly a lot of shorts pushing this thing down. I don't know if bulls have enough to invalidate what's going on here. It may be looking ready for another stop loss raid to the downside. Nice game, Chew Funk. Good job on the green day, dude. Potential short squeeze. That is a potential short squeeze. It's too early into this candle. Way too early into this candle. But if this candle closes above VWAP, which is this yellow dotted line, which it's there right now, that's a potential short squeeze. You saw shorts get in on that last candle, so much so that it invalidated that entire green candle and closed with a huge selling wick. It even closed red. And the very next candle, it invalidates that invalidation. If it holds that, that's bullish. So look, it just happened again. We got another huge green candle. It shot up. This is a bullish candle open. Again, candle shot up. Last seconds of the candle got pushed back down by bears. And this candle's opening bullish. This is screaming potential short squeeze to me. The best trade so far that I see with the highest odds of working out during this compression is longs. On this candle, if this candle closes right. But even though it's the best odds trade that's happened during this compression, that doesn't mean it has great odds. I mean, it's still pretty close to 50-50. But look, it's invalidating again. It's only going to be so many invalidations before one side breaks. And right now, with it invalidating again, starting to look 50-50 again. I don't know which way this is going to break, but we just had 3 selling wicks form, each of which making higher highs. I think bulls may have just lost the battle there. I don't know. That's very interesting. That's why you let your candles close before you enter, because now that trade doesn't even exist. I think they may have lost the battle. I think we may get a break to the downside. But it depends on how this candle closes. If it closes with a buying wick, that's lower lows on both ES and NQ. That candle's another short entry though. See how it keeps switching? This is what I'm avoiding right now. I don't want to trade during this. But now it's back to looking bearish. If this get no, and see it closed with a huge buy. Every single one of these trades I would have taken would have started out red if I filled. But that's a bearish candle open and validated that buying wick. It looks like we're at least heading back to demand on NQ. Yeah, you can, Chimkin. That's valid. Chimkin says he might take a break from trading till the new year. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Need a major psych reset after today. Do it. Document everything. whip out a cigar and reset your psychology. That's what I love doing. A good stogie with your psych reset. Do you still paper trade while on break? I don't usually take breaks, Jimkin. But I would recommend it for you, as long as you're not going to be tempted to trade real money. Sometimes when people go through hard things in trading and you're losing money and things aren't going great, um, a lot of times they think they need a payout or they just think they need profits. When in reality, the bare minimum major thing you need is just confidence back. And the reason you want to pay out is because, yeah, it's money that you make back, but it's confidence. And a lot of times, if people take a break and they at least paper trade and they paper trade well, you get a huge surge of confidence where you can do this, you're able to do it. You just need to continue training your emotions and training your psychology to act the way you want to act despite enduring terrible situations. So I think paper trading would be good, especially if you paper trade just one micro, just tiny size. Just simply being green paper trading will really renew your confidence and renew your belief that you can do this. You already know enough to be profitable. It's just you got to get your emotions under control. I mean, most of you guys are able, at least in my place, able to watch for short squeeze again. Guys, we made a lower low. We're invalidating the selling wick. Looks pretty damn good. I do want to enter longs a lot on NQ. I really do. But I said I wasn't going to trade during this. I'm not going to. But with NQ looking like that, plus being stronger than ES, plus ES is making lower lows in demand, that looks pretty damn good. But every other time I said it looked good, it immediately invalidated, which was here, here, and here. But that looks good right there. Oh my gosh, that looks dandy. That looks dandy. I already made the decision not trade during this compression. I'm not going to do it. I still have too much hesitation. I'm not willing to take a loss. But oh my gosh, that looks so good, guys. Look, compare NQ to ES right now. What are the odds that ES bounces from its position? I think fairly high. And NQ is that strong. It looks great to get to my white line. Looks great. You guys can take it if you want. But it's still compressing. We're still in the middle of the range. Every other time it was about to look graded and validated. This time definitely looks the greatest, for sure. We'll see. Shipkin says, I've been feeling like giving up, but this community keeps me going. The reality is, dude, everyone during their trading journey feels like giving up. Everyone. Read Guru's testimony. I'll actually read it for you guys right now, because you YouTube people haven't seen. But Guru is hell a better futures trader than I am at this point. Mostly because he just was able to dedicate a lot more. Me having the server and me doing the things I do, I'm not able to put as much effort into my psych as I'd like to. But this is Guru's testimony. Exactly 1 year ago today, I was at and by the way, for you YouTube people in Discord, his real name is Guru. Like, that's his real name. So it's not like a Discord name. So anyways, he says, exactly 1 year ago today, I was at an airport ready to give up on myself and trading. Consistency, perfect psychology, flawless risk management, stellar risk management, all of it seemed out of reach. And then suddenly my mind shifted. I decided that I'd give this business one more chance, one final dance. I made a pact with myself that this was either going to work or it wasn't. And whatever the outcome was, I'd be okay with it. Here I am today, exactly 1 year later. I've taken multiple payouts, 4, 5, and 6-figure payouts. I've been a Top Step live funded trader twice. I've appeared on Top Step TV 3 times in a row. I live trade almost every day and kick ass or get my ass kicked, it happens. I trade with a bulletproof mindset or attempt to. I execute flawlessly while practicing perfect psychology and risk management. And suddenly, everything that I thought was out of reach is in the palm of my hands. It took hours, days, and months of grueling restructuring of my mind to get to this place. And for all of that, I only have Bryce to thank. Without his lessons and tremendous effort, I would not have been nearly close to where I would like to be. I am one step closer. And then he says, I have cleared 7 figures this year from trading alone. I now have 2 streams of passive income to the point where I don't even really need to worry about making a penny trading. And I've been able to take care of my folks without reservation. And while I can't promise that giving it your all will guarantee your success in this business, I can say that it vastly increases the probabilities. I am my own trader, and I aspire to continue learning and growing with all of you wonderful folks. And he says in all caps, if I can do it, so can you. And I am by no means a special case. He says, I'd like to take this time to thank you all for your continued support, giving me the confidence I needed to trade live in front of you folks. And it's only possible because of you guys. I'm forever grateful for each and every one of you. Yes, that includes you, Tommy. And here's to prosperous 2025. Aurora stays on top. And he sent a screenshot of his plane ticket 1 year ago. And then he sent a picture of $1 million on his desk in $100 bills because he wanted to feel the weight of it. And for the rest of you guys, go in the Trader of the Week channel. These are all traders that have achieved incredible things in short amount of times. No, they're not as crazy as Guru is, right? Some of them aren't even profitable yet. But Trader of the Week, that channel is full of traders that have made drastic progress in a fairly short amount of time. And that channel was created mostly just for the community. There are lots of people that trading is full of hard times. Trading is 100% full of hard times. It really is, right? And you go on TikTok and stuff, and you'll see people flexing their supercars and stuff, and selling you multi-$1,000 courses and whatnot, when in reality it just ruins your psychology even more, spending that much money. And you think that trading is something that it's not. Well, the Trader of the Week channel, every time I see a member of my community that's made drastic, and I know how most of you guys are doing. I talk to you guys on a weekly basis for the most part. When I see one of you guys finally turn things around, maybe you're not profitable overall, maybe you aren't, maybe you finally passed something as simple as your first evaluation, got your first payout, had your first green month in options, whatever it is. What I like to do is fill that channel with people that have made drastic progress. They were one place, and now they are in a different place, and that channel is full of those people sharing how they got from that place to where they are now, the stuff they studied, the psychology they studied, the TA they studied. Share with you what works, so when you guys are down or whatever, you guys look in those channels and you guys get to see dozens of traders who all pretty much similar things. It's hard proof that it does work. It's a process, and you just need to stick to it. And that channel is full of great advice, great tips, and great stories that are a lot like your stories. And its purpose is to be motivation for you guys, and just to know what's possible. By the way, that long was looking bad there for a second, but it looks like it's going to get to the PT. So if any of you guys took that long, congratulations. I did say that was the best trade of the compression. That's the trade I wanted to take most. It's still not at PT yet. The 61.8 rule is at my white line that I have drawn on NQ's chart. Will it get there? I have no idea. But I did say I was rooting for an upside break, and it is breaking to the upside. But yeah, guys, this trading thing, it is absolute hell. And imagine me too. Not only do I have to worry about my own trading and my own psychology, but I got to worry about you guys as well. I got to worry about, when I'm pissed off at the market or whatever, maintaining a face for your guys' sake. On days where I get my ass kicked, which isn't very many, on days where I get my ass kicked, I don't want to come back to Discord. I don't want to have to do a lesson later. Every time I lose my psychology, which is fairly rare, but it has happened. There's been multiple times this year where I've lost my psychology and blown accounts or taken a huge loss on options, not from alerts, but after alerts, because my psychology is bad. I kept trading. And that same day, I still show up to a mentorship meeting, or that same day still put on a psychology lesson, knowing that I should have done that as well. So yeah, trading is a pain in the ass, but it is the most rewarding thing you could possibly do, and it has the most potential upside. A lot of you guys need to simply restructure your finances to a way that you're no longer trading for money. If you're an adult that makes, let's just say, average wage, average male wage is what, 6,000 a month, 70 something grand a year. I understand that that is not average American wage, but if you take out a lot of anchor statistics, if you will, the average wage is about 70 grand. If you're in your, I mean, just filtered by age in this server, most people are over 25. If you're from 25, 40, you make 6 grand a month. If you were to set a budget, you're like, okay, I'm going to trade. I'm going to do funded futures accounts because my money's going to go the furthest. I'm going to put my effort and time into this hobby that has the potential to retire me and my family within the next 3 years. Within the next 3 years, I can be living a life completely different than what I'm doing right now. How can I do it? Well, as you guys know, the only way to make money in the market is to be detached from your outcomes. I've seen I've seen quite a few people in my server not end up being profitable until they end up making a bunch of money from elsewhere. Whether it's Apex affiliate, you get a new job, whatever it is. I've seen that a lot too. But the only way to make money trading is you have to not care about your results. You have to truly just not give a shit if the trade you're entering ends up being green or red because you have a probabilistic mindset. Well, a lot of people don't structure their finances in a way that that's possible. If I make 6,000 a month and let's say 2,000 that goes to taxes, I have 4,000 bucks, I have 3,000 in bills, and I'm spending the other 500 on accounts, which is only 10 evaluations on Apex or a couple PAs. You think you're going to be detached from your outcomes? You're spending all your spare money. But if you're like, okay, I make an X amount of money, and you know what? At the end of the month, I have about 1,500 bucks left over after I put stuff in savings, or I have 1,000 bucks left over. If I can budget no more than $200 a month invested into my trading knowledge, not spending $200 a month to try to make it into thousands a month, I'm spending $2,000 I'm spending $200 a month as an investment into my trading. Maybe that's 40 bucks for a Discord, and then you get 2 evaluations max, which is, during 90% off would be 40 bucks as well. 80% off, that's going to be closer to $60. You have 100 bucks left for a PA, and that's it. And you trade those evaluations light size, so it is impossible for you to blow an evaluation in less than a week. That's how you should be trading. If it all goes well, you either blow up your evaluation or pass your evaluation in about 2 weeks. And you've budgeted yourself for 2 evaluations a month. How much easier is it for you going to be to accept your outcomes? It's going to be a lot, because now you're treating it as a hobby. You cannot treat trading as a job. You need to treat it as a hobby. And hobbies are something you spend money to enjoy, spend money to get good at, whatever it is. That's how you need to treat trading. And a lot of people just don't. It's literally impossible for them to be detached from their outcomes, because the way they have structured their finances around trading literally make it impossible. Tommy is a prime example. Tommy is one of the very few people that can probably never be profitable because of the way his finances are structured around trading. But it starts with restructuring your finances with trading to give yourself even the ability give yourself even the opportunity to possibly be detached from your outcomes. And once you do that, then you're going to be able to put that Mark Douglas stuff to work. You're going to be able to put it to use. That looks like a pretty good ES long right there, if I do say so myself. It's chopping up a little bit. I'm willing to take it. If this candle flips green, I'll take it. This will be my last trade. I have this good pivot right here. We've already missed it. We invalidated most of the drop. It looks pretty good. Doesn't look bad. Really doesn't look bad at all. NQ is definitely weaker now. Gosh, I wish I could use my 15-minute chart. I love the 15-minute chart. It just doesn't want to work. What a scam. Yeah, not confident that NQ can get up, but ES's chart looks a lot better. This pivot, though, next time we're near this pivot, 61.13, that needs to break. Just heads up. NQ looks like it kind of wants to reverse back to the downside. It's got the supply here. It's chopping up, but ES is so much stronger. I took this last trade on ES. You know, I'll give it a chance. I'll give it a chance. I kind of filled early into this candle. If this candle's red, wait for it to flip green. This is the last trade I'll take. You know, if I lose this trade, it'll be a small red day, and that's it. But you guys need to, anyways, what I was talking about, you guys need to structure your finances in a way that it's possible for you to be detached. Too many of you guys you're studying the right things, you're journaling what you need to be journaling, you're reviewing, you're doing the things that you should be doing, but you still find it impossible to be detached from your outcomes. You need to think about how you have trading structured in your life, right? Some people are younger and they're students, like I was, and my entire day rode on trading. Again, when I was learning to trade, 2020, all of 2020, a lot of 2021, I wouldn't eat my first meal until market was closed, right? It was impossible. Even though I did flip profitable, a lot of it was luck. I got lucky. I got a mix of good TA and lucky trades. After I flipped profitable, I ended up losing it all multiple times over. But for young Bryce, it was, which actually wasn't that long ago. But for young Bryce, it was like impossible for me to be detached from my outcomes because trading was my whole day. I mean, the job I worked was at 5 p.m., market closed at 1. Trading was my entire day. I had nothing else to look forward to besides trading. So me having a green day or red day literally dictated my mood for the entire day. I had nothing else going on in my life. And yes, I learned a lot very quickly. I learned a lot of very valuable knowledge that other people were able to take and flip profitable like TA. But as far as long-term consistency, yeah, I was able to get it, but also the market was a lot easier to trade during that time. It was so hard for me to be detached from my outcomes because it just dictated my entire day. But I mean, imagine if, I had other things going on, other things that made me money, a job that I was looking forward to, a hobby that I was looking forward to, a strict gym schedule that, after 2.5 hours after market open, I'm in the gym no matter what. And I have a gym partner that holds me accountable to that. That's a lot easier to accept your outcomes, because you got other things going on that are more important in your life. Maybe you have kids, family, whatever it is. It's a lot easier to be detached from your outcomes. So it's not just about finances. You need to restructure your life. How big of a weight is trading right now? What can you do to drop that weight? Because you guys know psychological reinforcement. Yes, you're not going to be able to make as much money if you drop that weight, if you not spend as much money towards it, not as much time towards it or whatever, and you spend more time studying psychology daily than you do trading. That's what Guru did. Guru said he was studying 6 hours a day psychology. Imagine if you studied psychology and journaled and review your TA on a daily basis for more hours than you spend trading. You're going to become a lot better. That's totally possible. You just got to figure out how to be detached from your outcomes and put yourself in the best place possible. But like I was saying with the psych reinforcement, yes, you're not going to be able to make nearly as much money. You're sure as hell going to be leaving a lot on the table, right? But remember, every time you win trading, it reinforces that mindset. Okay, so if you even start winning a little bit, no, it's not going to be nearly as much as you want, but it's reinforcing the mindset that you took to win that trade and the way you traded. And while you might not be making a lot of money, your mind is evolving greatly and you're completely restructuring your mind. So that by the time you start sizing up and taking bigger size, your mind's nearly unbreakable because it's been so reinforced, right? So just something to think about. There's my rant. We'll see if this trade works out. ES, of course, flipped weak, but who cares? It's either going to work out or it doesn't. It doesn't matter what I would have entered. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I move my stop loss up just a little bit. Pretty tight stop loss. Good thing I didn't take those shorts, right? Avoided the chop. Avoided the chop. 61.8. You gotta love those fib rules, guys. You really do. But type in chat. What are you, if you guys have any thoughts on anything that I just ranted about? Yep, bounced off the 61.8 fib, which means my PT is now the 61.8. And boom. Yeah, it just hit it just now. Beautiful. There was a lot of talking there. I read through the testimonials. That was great. Yes, I do, Chimkin. The Futures Masterclass, not going to be reteaching that for a while. That was 7 hours, 3 hours each. And it has a Futures PDF that lays out a solid game plan to it has a huge PDF as well. Was looking pretty good. That's a pretty bearish candle on ES. It unfortunately did flip weaker than NQ. Yeah, you can DM me, Chimkin. By the way, all you guys that took that last masterclass, the recording is posted, and the quality is good again. Like it just took a lot longer to process like the 1080p version, so it's usable now. We have a new kind of compression here. That's possible, unfortunately. If this is a big green candle on NQ, it'll look pretty good. Even though it may oscillate down a little bit more, that shows me that bulls are still dip buying it. And we still have the possibility of continuing to squeeze to the upside. Ew, NQ is pretty weak though. I don't know if I really want to sit in this trade, guys, to be honest. NQ is very weak, and you know what? It's kind of looking like it may chop. It's pulling back. It's fine if it pulls back. You know, it's a cup and handle. I don't like how weak NQ, ES flipped though. Doesn't really have great odds. The straight started out pretty good. You know, it was moving in the right direction, but that's a lot weaker than ES. But I think I'll give it like 5 more minutes. If this doesn't go anywhere, you know, I think I may just hop out. I may just leave my stop order and PT order up and leave or whatever, but I've been in here a very long time and I do have things to do today. So I'll hang out for a few more minutes, see what happens, and then I'll figure it out from there. But if this trade just goes sideways or whatever, I may just leave and keep my orders up. Because volume has been greatly decreasing on ES as well. It's been drying up. Be right back. All right, I'm back, guys. Very out of breath at the moment. Once I catch my breath, I will update y'all. Yeah, guys, it's going sideways. It's not really doing anything. NQ is still a good amount weaker than ES. Or, I mean, ES is still a good amount weaker than NQ. But, anyways, here I am waiting for this trade, like a minute ago. And I hear slurping behind me. What the hell is that sound? And I turn my head. Like, the damn cat's drinking out of the toilet again. I hate that. She's not allowed to do that. So we usually leave the toilets closed, but I knew that's what it was. And this little bitch, right when I stand out of my chair, she knows I can't see the bathroom. It's like behind a wall, right? So I so much as just swivel my chair to get out, and she jumps out of the toilet and bolts off because she knows what she's doing is bad. So I had to chase her around the house, and once I caught the bastard, I dipped her face into the toilet, yelled at her, told her no, and put her in the laundry room. Is it immoral to give your cat a swirly? So I didn't flush it, but so gross, pisses me off. She knew it too. You know, if she would have just stayed there and been sorry, wouldn't have been a big deal. I would have told her no, then flushed the toilet. But no, whenever that cat runs from me, dude, it just triggers something primal inside of me that's just like hunting mode. I can't do anything besides chase the damn thing until I get it. So we did a few laps, but that's what happened. She knew it too. The way she bolted out of that bathroom before I was even out of my chair, she knew it. Naughty. I now understand why my parents would get so pissed when they spank my ass and I try to block it. It's the same damn thing. When I try to yell at my cat and she runs away, it's the same thing. Is that relatable to anyone? Type in chat. Guys, I don't like this trade anymore. Um, it actually doesn't look bad. I wanted to sell at break even there, but I didn't get filled. It's looking more bad now. Yeah, that bounce just got rejected on NQ. But ES is trying to flip strong again. I don't know. Yeah, and ES is starting to flip a little bit strong. I'm probably just gonna let the trade play out. I don't know. I kind of knew, it was moving in the right direction at first. It's still a fine trade. There's nothing wrong with the trade, but it didn't sweep buy side liquidity. It missed this lower low here, which kind of hurts the odds just a little bit. Um, but during that first rejection, I'm like, we're probably going to go sideways. And of course, we can still break to the upside and run, but it's like we're compressing again. And I hate trading this crap, you know? So I'm not very confident. It is a lot stronger than NQ, though. There is that. But it did totally invalidate that bounce. So unless it gets back up, it's not going to be looking too hot. But yeah, this is not a good time to trade. Volume is way too low right now. And another thing is, if NQ held this green candle, it would have looked really good, but it didn't. This bounce, it didn't even oscillate all the way back up here. If it oscillated all the way back up there, it would look good. But it looks like bears are resuming control of NQ. And it doesn't look very good, to be honest. But I'll hang out on my phone. Now I really can't do anything. I gotta wait for it to stop out. So I'll hang out on my phone. And if it goes back to break even, then I'll have a hard decision to make. But right now, I don't really have a decision to make at the moment. Good stop at break even. Um, it's a cup and handle. I can't, even though it's so sideways. I don't want to be sit in this trade. I'm past my time limit, and the candle's already getting a selling wick. Ew. I think I'm just gonna see it through. It's up to you guys, but I'll hang out in here until then. But I'm gonna be on my phone. I don't really have anything to talk about. Ew, it was looking so good there for a second. Now it's looking bad. Nope, now it looks like it's gonna stop out. It is a lot stronger than NQ, but I even though it does stop out, I'm still leaning fairly bullish. It's just, eh, not a very good time to trade. Not a very good time at all. I don't have any news for this time. It does look like a news candle though. Hang on, let me see. Anything for 11. 20-year bond auction. Well, that was 20-year bond auction. Didn't move me in the right direction. I don't know if it's going to keep going that direction though. We'll see. Okay, well, that bottom trend line just got tested yet again on NQ. It's fairly likely to break, even though we're getting lower lows with buying wicks. It still looks like bullish consolidation on ES. It's just, it looks like shorts are kind of back in control. So I'm starting to expect NQ to break this trend line to the downside, but based on these candles and ES's strength, I wouldn't be surprised if we bounce. It's still very 50-50. I wish that it was 50-50 near my PT and not near my stop loss, but that's just the way it is. NQ looks good to possibly bounce. ES not as much. ES isn't really showing me anything. ES looks like it's starting to do, it's doing its thing again, where NQ drops a bunch and then starts putting in those lower lows with buying wicks, and then it flips stronger than ES. It's like clockwork today. It's so interesting. ES is back to doing its thing where it's just weaker than NQ. Did it all right here. It's probably going to get to my stop, but if it's anything like previous, it's probably still going to find a way to go up after and flip strong during the way up. I mean, this is just repeating what it's been doing pretty much this entire time. Did it right here, did it right here, and now it's trying to do it again. Did it right here as well. It's looking like it's going to stop out. It's just too weak now, which is fine. It will end up being a very, pretty much only red by one trade. It is what it is. I'll just put it in my notes that this is the second time in a row that I've traded past kind of my 10:30 limit, and both of those times end up being losing trades. So it's very unlikely that I'm gonna keep doing it because the stats just are not there for trading lunch hour. But yeah, I'm pretty much out of things to talk about. We covered a lot of stuff in this live session. It's pretty good. I'm glad we got that massive trade. Didn't get any others though. You could have got this one though on ES, and we did perfectly happen to reject the 61.8, which I did not expect to perfectly reject it. I didn't perfectly reject it. Never mind, but it did reject it. So I did not fill my stop loss yet. And I think it was because it was one tick lower. I'm still waiting. Missed it by one tick. It is so much weaker. This is exactly what I was doing right here. So much weaker than NQ. There it is. All right, well that is it for me. Very small red day. I mean it could have been a slight green day if I just stopped after this big trade, but as far as the trades themselves, they were pretty good. What really just determined the result of this day was me entering NQ longs here and it just being horrendously weak. This stopped getting swept pretty much kind of determined the day. If that didn't happen, would have been a very green day, but that's how it goes. But all right, I'm going to head out. Was in here for a very long time. Good luck if you keep trading. I don't know which way this is going to end up breaking out. Looks like the market's just kind of losing a lot of volume. But if I had to choose, I'm still more bullish than bearish just by a bit. Like, look at that candle on it, ES that just put in. But all right, well, I'll see you guys later. Good luck if you continue to trade. We have a lot of mentorship meetings today. And yeah, price action during the second and third hour just hasn't been good towards in quarter 4 of this year. Hopefully the start of next year it's a lot better. All right, I'll see you guys later.